The Mind and Body Problem, a philosophy project. Who are you? Your physical body and what you look like, or what's inside your mind? When you see yourself in the mirror, you say, well, that's me. But there are many cases in which this dilemma shows up, like transgender people or people that have problems with their hormones, in which cases their bodies do not align with their minds and who they are. They do not feel identified with their body and what that represents.
In 1948, an iron rod got right into the skull of a laborer called Phineas Gage. His head was stabbed from front to back, but he didn't die. His personality changed completely. Phineas's brain was altered and his personality changed as well.
This was evidence that something that happened to something physical or brain had an impact on something non-physical or personality.
This begs the question, where does our mind reside? Where in us are we?
Our first variation is physicalism, which is the belief that everything is made out of physical matter, so everything can be described and explained in terms of our bodies, like hormones and neurons. Like when our personality changes when given antidepressants. Here, the emotion is changed by body's hormones and chemicals.
So are we the body or the mind? Plato argued that the mind and body are fundamentally different because the mind is rational, in contrast the senses, which are part of the body, because they can be tricked.
I think, therefore I am. René Descartes said that there was always a space for doubt of his body, the truth of his senses and his place in the world, but never of his existence as himself. The fact that he could doubt one but not the other indicated that he was made out of two types of material. The second variation is substance dualism. Here, part of our identities cannot be reduced to physical matters like our brains, and certain objects like God are pure mind with no body, and others like dirt are pure substance with no mind or consciousness. The mind controls the body, telling it to do things. The body can also influence the mind, like when you're so hungry that you cannot pay attention to what someone is saying. It's as if body and mind were different creatures controlling each other.
Many modern philosophers of mind have felt driven to forsake substance dualism altogether because they see no solution to overcome the mind-body dilemma. Some people are content to remain physicalists, whereas others believe that some aspects of human experience cannot be reduced to brains.
Many say that the physicalist theory is usually lacking subjective first-person experiences, meaning that we all have bodies and minds, but they are all different, therefore we use them differently. Philosopher McGinn gives us the third variation of answer, Mysterianism. This implies that our minds are incapable of answering the question of awareness. No amount of thoughts can lead us to understand neon firing, and no amount of scientific investigation can explain what it's like to perceive color through the eyes of someone else. This problem has yet to be answered, but personally ourselves in the team, we believe that the body and mind are hard to see where they collide because they are the exact same thing. A person bases themselves on what they can learn and perceive, which would not be possible without a physical body with to touch, smell, and see. But also there will be nothing there to analyze without the rational side of the mind, to process the inputs. But that's the easy part to answer, that mind and body are the same, a person. But where exactly is our soul and our consciousness on who we actually are? Where do our thoughts reside, and where is our inner voice talking? In this case, we agree with mysticism that humans do not have the ability to understand this, and knowing that as one self cannot comprehend what one self is not already, then in this case, we are looking for a consciousness when we are not consciousness. We are people who have consciousness. To understand something that we are not is impossible. If the brain were so simple to understand, we would be too simple to understand it.